Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, Facebook. It's Bill, the Knee Pain Guru, and I have gotten a few questions on my the Knee Pain Guru Facebook page, and I I had this flash of brilliance this morning that I could actually answer the questions on a live video on these live feeds. So that's what I'm going to do this morning. So I got two questions here, one from Ron and one from Brenda that I will cover here shortly. Ron writes in, I'm 75 years old with bone on bone. They say lots of arthritis, pain daily on the right knee, but worst part is my knees are bent and cannot straighten, losing about ½ inch of height. Chiropractor states it is because of my hamstrings. Surgery scheduled for the first of the year. They say you can't rebuild cartilage. Okay, Ron, I'm not exactly sure what your question is. You're giving kind of just random questions here, so I'm unclear if you're really looking for help or you're just kind of giving me your situation and go from there. As far as the tightness in the hamstrings, the bone on bone, the arthritis, there's lots of layers here that needs to be looked at in terms of addressing what's going on in your knees. First and foremost, from my approach, we got to get you comfortable. The fact that your hamstrings are tight, the fact that you have a ½ inch of height loss, I don't know if that's both legs or one leg. So we need to get more clear, because if it's one leg, then we need to look at the hips in terms of the rotation in the hips to get the balance in the leg length to address that. That's going to start relieving some of the tension that's going on into your knees. My question to you is, would you really care what your diagnosis was, bone on bone or arthritis, if your knees didn't hurt? Now it's a very simple question. However, it has profound implications, because many people get stuck in their diagnosis, what the doctor says. Now don't get me wrong, addressing the diagnosis or getting a diagnosis is very important. However, once we determine that nothing is broken or torn, and based on what you're telling me, nothing's broken or torn in the knee, then it's just a function of addressing the pain, addressing the discomfort. So that's, your body is stuck in what I refer to as a pain-tension loop. There's tension, there's pain, there's tension because of pain. So the more, let's see if I can balance this a little bit better. So the more painful your knee gets, the tighter the knee squeezes. The tighter the knee squeezes, the more it irritates the nerves. The more it irritates the nerves, the more pain you feel. So the more pain you feel, the more pain you feel, and it keeps you stuck in this loop. What needs to happen first is we need to get the pressure off of the tiny little nerves in the knee, the width of an eyelash. When we get the pressure off of the nerves, it gives you relief. Think of it like removing a splinter from your finger. When you remove that splinter, there's relief pretty immediately in the finger. It doesn't mean the pain is completely gone, but it allows the opportunity for your knee to heal. So first and foremost, the very first step we need to address is getting the pressure off of the nerves. When we get the pressure off of the nerves, when we get the pressure off of the nerves in your knee, there's relief that takes place. When relief takes place, then what ends up happening is your body is now able to heal itself. But the odds are it's not going to heal itself if it's in pain. The more pain we get your body out of, your knees out of, the more of an opportunity it has for your body to heal what's going on. Now, as far as rebuilding cartilage, rebuilding meniscus in the knee, I believe that the body has the infinite capacity to heal itself. Hands down, your body knows how to heal itself. And if you look at it as a system, there's inputs in that system that is going through the system and spitting out that your cartilage is wearing, your meniscus is wearing. So all we need to do is go back in the front end of that system and start putting different inputs and see both how your knees feel as well as how that begins to change how you move, how you function. And we start addressing that and focusing specifically on comfort. The more comfort we focus on, meaning when we get the pressure off of the nerves, we create what I refer to as pain pattern interrupts. When we create pain pattern interrupts, and focus on creating those pain pattern interrupts on a consistent and a regular basis, day in and day out, comfort becomes a new reality for your body. It's very simple. It's very simple, straightforward. It's not complicated. However, that doesn't mean it isn't easy. Because we've been trained, our nervous system is hardwired to look for the threat, which is looking for the pain. When we look for the pain, what are we going to focus on? What's going to create more of? We create more pain, of course. However, if we begin looking in the places that we need to train ourselves to look, which is in where there's quiet, where it doesn't feel like we're doing anything, that begins to expand. Comfort becomes our new reality by doing those pain pattern interrupts on a consistent and a regular basis. And when we do that, when we get the body comfortable, we set up the conditions in terms of getting your body's, the right water, the right nutrition, the right mindset, reducing the inflammation, then everything else takes over. Your body knows what to do. We just got to set up those conditions. I hope this makes sense. If it doesn't, then set up a time to speak with me. I will be more than happy to go into more detail on this. You can go, I believe, above this video. There'll be a link to set up a time to speak with me. You can also go to my website, thekneepainguru.com, and set up a time to talk with me. We'll see what's going on with your knee. We'll see if we're a good fit. If you're a good fit for my program, because it's not a good fit for everybody. That's really important. It's important to understand you have to have the right mindset. Your body has the ability to heal itself, but if you don't have the right mindset, then we're both wasting our time. And it's okay. If knee replacement is what you want to do, go for it. It doesn't bother me in the least bit. I just want to know that want you to know that you have another option out there. So you can go there, set up a time to speak with me if you'd like, and you can go from there. The next question is from Brenda. It says, I have scar tissue on both knees for several years after having surgery after a car accident. Can't bend my legs, my knees, but 70 to 80 degrees. This is horrible feeling when I can't go up and down the stairs. Right. I can't kneel at church. In the business I'm in where... Yeah, sorry. And the business I'm in where booties, it's hard to put them on since I can't bend them. I was told I need a knee replacement on both knees because I have arthritis in my knees. I was told that arthritis keeps your knees from bending also. I just need to know what I can do physically to start getting more percentage of my knees bending again. I'm just so tired of surgeries to get this corrected. Brenda, I totally get it. I hear a lot of stories like this. The function of bending of the knee is not necessarily because of arthritis. We have to look from a holistic approach. We have to look at everything that's going on from your feet all the way up to your head. That's causing your knees to have the problems that they are. And like I was speaking with, telling Ron before, when we start creating comfort, when we start focusing on comfort and creating those pain pattern interrupts on a consistent and a regular basis, the joint relaxes. The joint expands. The joint allows itself to get more space. Another thing that needs to be addressed is the tension in the hips, because the body is a series of pulleys and levers, and if you have something there's something hanging up in one series of pulleys and levers, it's affecting the other series of pulleys and levers. Meaning, if there's tension in the hips and the lower back, it affects the ability of the knee to fully extend or flex. And this, my personal experience in martial arts from arm bars. If you bind the knee up, you can't extend the hip. If you bind the hip up, it's difficult to fully extend the knee. That's just how it goes. So, one thing I'd like to share with you about arthritis. There's several layers going on about arthritis. The conventional medical model will say that there is no cure for arthritis. Once the joint begins to degenerate, you're on this downhill slope, and hold off until you're old enough to have a knee replacement. And that's basically their strategy for only having to do a knee replacement once. They want you to die with a knee replacement on. The knee replacements are rated for 15 to 20 years. Some of the better ones, 10 to 15 on other ones. And what ends up happening is they want to wait till you're old enough, so you essentially die with the knee replacement in. They're figuring out how old you're going to be when you have that knee replacement, that your knee replacement will last until you're dead. So that strategy in and of itself is a little screwed up if you think about it from a logical perspective. However, when you're in pain, it's like you just want to get out of pain. So, doctor, do whatever you got to do to get me out of pain. But if we look at the mechanics of what's going on in your body when you have arthritis, arthritis is, by a medical diagnosis, it's dehydrated joint. Anybody watching this video, look on your medical diagnosis of arthritis, what your doctor wrote, and it'll say dehydrated joint, which means the joint doesn't have enough lubrication. It doesn't have enough water, in essence. So conventional thinking is, oh, well, I drink more water and my knee pain will go away, right, Bill? No, it's not quite that easy. Because what happens is the joint, when it feels pain, remember the pain-tension loop, the more pain you feel, the tighter the joint gets, creating more pain. So every time the joint squeezes, because it experiences pain, it squeezes out the synovial fluid in the joint. The joint essentially gets tighter, and it squeezes out any water, lubrication, hyaluronic acid, all of that stuff they try to inject in your knee to create space, to create lubrication, is squeezed out when we feel pain. So just by drinking water doesn't change the pattern that's going on in the knee, creating space. And when there's no space, no matter how much water you drink, it's not able to get into the knee. So that's the first level. We got to start drinking more water, but we have to address the pain in the knee. And by creating pain pattern interrupts on a consistent and a regular basis in the knee, the joint begins to relax. And when the joint begins to relax, guess what? That water you're drinking can now has the opportunity to get into the joint. So we have the layer of making sure we're drinking enough water. We have to make sure we're addressing the pain tension loop in the knee joint. And then the third level of that, we need to make sure the body has enough minerals to actually absorb the water. So you drink water, and then 5 minutes later you run into the bathroom, which happens quite frequently when I start working with clients and they start increasing their water intake. They increase their water intake, however, now they're running to the bathroom every 5 minutes. Part of that is their body getting used to absorbing more water. Think of a sponge that's dry next to your sink. When you first put it underneath the tap, you got to kind of massage it to get the water into the sponge. And then once the water absorbs in the sponge, now you're able to use the sponge like it's meant to be used. Otherwise, it's just too dry. It's also easy to tear, which is consequently, what happens with meniscus tears. This all ties together. This is really cool the way the body works. So now we're drinking more water, but we're running to the bathroom more because your body's getting used to it. But there's also the opportunity that the body, or there might be the possibility that the body doesn't have enough minerals, meaning that we're essentially don't have enough salt. And there's a certain amount of salt that your body needs to get the water from outside of the cell to inside of the cell to flush out the cell to remove the waste products from the body. And I do have a post. It's called The Original Gatorade on my website. Just go to thekneepainguru.com, type in original. That's the easiest word. I spelled Gatorade a little different, but original in the search bar, and it'll come up. It'll say Original Gatorade, the Original Gatorade. And it has a recipe for actually the original Gatorade for the Florida Gators, the University of Florida sports team. They developed this recipe for mixing sea salt, water, and lemon together and drinking that down to begin to hydrate their players. Where it is now, as far as Gatorade that you're familiar with, has lots of other additives, preservatives, chemicals, and stuff like that, sugar that I'm not a big fan of. Anyways, by increasing intake of the original Gatorade, getting the body minerals in the body, what ends up happening is now the body is able to absorb the water that you're drinking. So this is very important. There's layers to this. It's not straightforward like do this and your knee pain is going to go away. The body's a little complicated at times, and we need to understand, like a combination to a safe, what we need to do in what order to get the outcome that we're looking at. The system. What inputs are we putting in on the front? What's processing by your body? What outputs are we getting on the other side? So this is important. First thing is increasing your water intake. Second is creating those pain pattern interrupts by getting the pressure off of the nerves that are causing the pain. And third is making sure your body has the right mineral balance so it can actually absorb the water, or right mineral balance so you can actually absorb the water that you're taking in. So those are the three layers that are really important. Let me see. My phone cleared out. So this was for Brenda. Brenda, if you have any more questions, there's a lot to this. However, once we start setting up the conditions, your body heals itself. Clients I work with get out of pain very quickly because we're setting up the conditions. We're getting the knee out of pain. The body has the resources it needs to heal itself, and then we address the mindset to make sure that no matter whether it's a good day or bad day, you're keeping on the path. You're keeping focused on what are the main things to work on that are going to continue your body in that healing process. So that is anyway, I believe that answers your questions. If it doesn't, ask another question. For those that are watching this and they have questions, let's see, if you have questions. Does coconut oil help you keep hydrated? Oh, maybe. That's a different scenario. Coconut oil from a biological perspective can actually dehydrate the body in certain situations, in certain scenarios. Coconut oil is excellent as far as actually healing gut inflammation, which is tied into the setting up the conditions so the body can heal itself. However, there are some situations and some scenarios where the right amount of coconut oil can actually dehydrate the body. And I can get into that in another video and certainly answer those questions at that time. So there aren't any other. I'll hang over here for another couple couple seconds if there's any other questions. I'll be happy to answer them. And if not, you can go ahead and post your questions here, or write them to me in the Knee Pain Guru Facebook page. If you send them to my personal Facebook account, what tends to happen is it goes into this other folder that I don't look at that often, and that makes it, well, I don't check it, I don't answer, I don't see the question, I don't answer it. So if you want your questions answered, leave them here on my Facebook page, either on the wall, or message me through the Knee Pain Guru Facebook page, or head over to my website, thekneepainguru.com, and I have an assessment you can take to get a better understanding of my approach. It'll kind of assess where you're at, give you a video that'll help you relieve some of your knee pain today. You can also, I have several products and programs that you can get into that'll be beneficial. Tumeric work. Becky has a question. Does turmeric really work for joint inflammation and pain? Yes. Yes, however, it's important to look at turmeric in a greater context. We just can't start taking turmeric and then the pain will go away. It needs to be plugged into a bigger strategy. Turmeric is very, very effective. And I use turmeric. I actually have it's a turmeric paste that I mix with hot water or coconut milk that I make into like a turmeric latte, which is really good. That helps with gut inflammation. Like most everybody has gut inflammation, and this, by addressing gut inflammation, it frees up the resources that it makes it easier for the body to heal the knees. So great question, Becky. Thank you. There's actually several herbs that are great. Turmeric, rosemary, green tea, and ginger are phenomenal as far as reducing the inflammation in the body, and incorporating it on a consistent and regular basis makes a huge difference. Good job, Becky. Thank you. Any other questions? See, we got 6 people on the call. Anybody who has knee pain, I'll be here for another little bit. If you have questions about your knees, type them in the comment section below. And if not, that's okay. I was talking with my assistant Corey the other day, and we're going to figure out how to tie this into the website, where getting on my list, I could send out a tweet so you know I'm live, so you can get on and ask me questions, and get you some more help with your knees, because there's really absolutely no reason why people should be hobbling around with knee pain. So, okay, I'm going to sign off. I don't see any more questions. Thank you all so much. Stay tuned, and let me figure out how to shut this off. Okay, thank you very much. This is Bill, the Knee Pain Guru, signing off. Have a great day.